So what did you just hear? Well, it was basically an opening that used the idea of juxtaposing major or minor triads on one top of the other in order to create pleasing chord voicings. Let's go through the opening. I'll show you what I played, and then we'll work on how to sort of expand it to a general concept that you can apply to your own playing. Let's start with the first chord. Now it's a bit high up on the piano here, so it may be a bit difficult to make out. So, of course, as usual, I'll write it for you on the top of the screen. But what I'm playing is, in the right hand, I'm playing a B flat major, and in the left hand, I'm playing an A flat major. So I'm sort of playing these major triads, one after the other, one in the left hand, one in the right hand, and they come together to form what sounds like a very pleasing chord voicing to me. Now we could try and figure out exactly which chord this corresponds to, and we'll probably, this is slightly ambiguous. There's actually more than one particular way to call this chord. For example, one way to think about it is as an A flat major 13th chord. So here's your A flat, scale, and I'm playing the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th degree of the scale, and I'm omitting the 7th, and look at this. I remain with an A flat major in the left hand and a B flat major in the right hand. So you could think of this as voicing for A flat major 7th, but the point is that what you should do is just think of it as two juxtaposed triads, that's all. Alright, that was a lengthy explanation just for the first chord in the series. Let's look at the next chord. Again, two juxtaposed chords, an F major with a G major. Now, both this and this consisted of two major chords that are one tone apart, right? One was an F major and with a G major, that's the second chord. And the first chord is an A flat major with a B flat major. Now what I played here is really, I think of this as a B flat major in the left hand and a D minor in the right hand. But really what it is, or you could also think of this as a B flat major 7th. And this goes into the fourth chord, which was... Now what am I playing here? So in the right hand I'm playing a G major chord in one of its inversions, and the left hand plays this A, E, and C. A, E, and C. Take this C down here, and you only have an A minor. So again, we have two chords, this time a minor chord in the left hand and a major chord in the right hand, that are one whole tone apart. Right? You have an A minor in the left hand and a G major in the right hand. So there's a pattern here. This just happens to be a combination that sounds or tends to sound pleasing. Two chords that are one whole tone apart. So here, again, I'm doing the same shtick, only transposed down. I have a D flat major in the left hand and an E flat major in the right hand. Again, D flat major, E flat major. Two major chords, one whole tone apart. And now I have basically an F, or an F, it could be an F, it could be thought of as an F major 7, but really you should think of this as an F, with a C. So here are two major chords that aren't a whole tone apart. You're playing an F in the left hand and a C in the right hand. Now they're a perfect fifth apart. And these intervals are usually the intervals that work well, these simple intervals. A fifth, a fourth, a major second. You can think of other variations, but sort of you probably wouldn't try something like this. Actually, that's not too bad. But these two chords, a C major and an A flat major, are a major third apart. So that's sort of a less popular interval to try. So again, and the next chord is a G major and an A major, again a whole tone apart. And so forth. So the idea is that this example should motivate you to try out different major and minor triads in combination and see what you can come up with. Let's take just one more example. You should also, by the way, also try maybe seventh chords. For example, here's the same shtick. Here's the C major in the left hand and a D major in the right hand. So there are two major chords, a whole tone apart, a C in the left hand and a D in the right hand. And now I'm experimenting with a dominant seventh. So this is a C dominant seventh in the left hand. And this gives it a slightly different color. Let's do a couple more experiments. Let's just randomly take stuff. Let's take an F major in the left hand and I don't know, a B minor in the right hand. So this sounds quite crappy, and the reason for this is that these two are what's called a tritone apart. So this is 6 semitones, and usually things that are 6 semitones apart are kind of like the most out of sync, or they share the least number of harmonic degrees that you can think of, right? It's like taking a, let's say, a C major chord and an F sharp major chord. These are a tritone apart and they clash completely if I try to play them together. Let's do one more. Let's take, let's say, a D minor and maybe a G. That's actually a pleasing sound. So I'm playing a D minor in the left hand and a G major in the right hand. And a D and a G are a perfect fourth apart. So that's why it sounds better than the previous example. So here's the same thing, only with A minor and D major. Again, two chords that are perfect fourth apart. Maybe just one more before we sign off. Now let's try a major chord in the left hand and a minor chord, say, in the right hand. Actually, the easiest example that comes to mind is this. You're playing an F major and an E minor, and what you're really playing is sort of an F major 11 here. So it's one way of thinking of an F major 11th chord. So that's it for now. I hope you've learned something interesting, and I'll see you next time.